Yeah, I think we should be all set.
Yeah, peace, Dr. Bass. Pleasure to be on this show once more. It's always a pleasure to have the opportunity to share what it is that we got to share so that, yeah, we could serve as the cosmic alarm clocks, the universal alarm clocks for the sleeping few elect to literally catch these messages, or rather that they could recognize what's being said in these messages so that, yeah, changes can literally start abounding because it's about time that we literally brought a shit to this fucking world, like an end to this world. You know what I mean? Like bring an end to this fucking world because holy shit, how much longer do we have to wait until we really start seeing shit manifesting? You know what I mean? Like see the heavens start freaking tearing up like paper, like freaking fire raining from the skies, like freaking I don't know, oceans turning into blood. Essentially the kind of shit that you be seeing in mythologies that's like some kind of a disaster movie, only a lot better because it's actually happening. You know what I mean? But yeah, how's it going, Brandon?
Oh yeah, everything has been going good. Everything's been going good. I hope everyone is doing good and everything like that. But like, down in this one, what I'm saying, it's slower than a total and a snail combined. You just gotta deal with it, I guess.
Uh,
I don't know. This is just, I don't know.
You know what it is. You know what it is, brother. But yeah, everyone, the host Brandon Bass himself is literally made a full solar return today. It's definitely his day. Big shout outs to the host Brandon. Yeah, bro, you are highly appreciated. I do wish you nothing but the very best. May you definitely achieve what it is that you came here to accomplish, and much much more because yeah, bro, I mean, what can I say? It really sucks to have to continue to put up with the BS in this realm. But hey, whatever good that you can experience, definitely make the best of it for real. So happy solar return, and I wish you great health and much much more to come your way, bro.
Oh yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate it. And then yeah, I took down all the stuff that we was gonna talk about in the next live. So I know we was gonna later on we're gonna talk about like the clay thing and then the electromagnetics field over like later.
Mm, for real, for real. Because actually, I was almost ready to just dive into the videos, but yeah, good thing that you mentioned it so that we could just yeah, it also gives me some time to literally just start sharing the videos with you so that we could just get down to sharing them with the audience that are watching when we're ready to go on that one. But either way, bro, um, it's very important to note, especially I would advise people to literally get the books David Adams Leeming, Mythology Voyage of the Hero, and he has another one, World Myths, I think it's called. But yeah, David Adams Leeming. Yeah, he has books written on mythology, and another good book written on mythology is J.F. Beerline's Parallel Myths. In that book, you could literally get um detailed comparisons from creation stories to yeah, end of the world stories to the so-called flood stories, which if people didn't know, the flood is really just a esoteric symbolism for when we were in the higher realms before we flooded and sank into physical matter. That's what it is. That's what the flood was about. The flood was literally us sinking into physical matter, which makes sense because even when you read the Genesis creation story within the King James Bible, you could see when you really do observe it and watch carefully that this realm was not always physical. I mean, the great Bobby Hemmett clearly made it obvious to us throughout his lectures. And even when you get into the different mythologies that preceded the Bible, because anybody who doesn't know that the King James Bible in and of itself is nothing more than King James version of all the ancient mythological stories and all the knowledges and texts that were written by the ancients in very ancient times, hundreds to thousands of years before Christianity and all these other patriarchal religions were even a concept, let alone some kind of a movement. But yeah, so essentially what Brandon mentioned about clay is like you could imagine, which is interesting because when I read Wendy Doniger O'Flaherty, which by the way I would recommend to get her books as well. Other good books based off mythology is Marie Louise von France. Uh, yeah, Marie Louise von France book on mythology. I can't remember the name, but Marie Louise von France and Barbara C. Sproul, Primal Myths. Yeah, Barbara C. Sproul. But you could also get Barbara G. Walker, you could get her books as well because she gets into a lot of secrets based off of ancient civilizations, especially when women used to rule, because we know that this is a feminine realm and women are the ones who really tap into the higher frequencies, higher energies and forces because it's a feminine realm and they are nothing more women being physical manifestations of the great divine feminine in human form. So like, yeah, anybody who didn't know that, yeah, there feel free to do your research. Don't take my word for it. I don't need you to take our word as gospel like any of these pimp pastors and preachers on a pulpit. I mean, fuck them. Serious. Like for real, Brandon, these motherfuckers, right? Yo, we ain't like these pastors and preachers. Please do your own research so you can call us out or like literally see for yourself whether we're actually given the facts or not. Hey, it's entirely up to you because we're just leaving the information right there simply for you to observe and do whatever you want with it or choose to do nothing with it. Hey, that's not our problem. We're just sharing the information. But when you get into Wendy Doniger O'Flaherty's book, Hindu Myths, it's interesting because at the beginning of the there because you know all these different mythologies, there are different versions to the mythologies, but especially when you get into one of the creation stories in Hindu mythology, all physical matter, once after physical matter came into existence, yeah, it's not to say that it literally just sprung out of existence like that. You know what I mean? It was always there. It was always there. And interestingly, when I made that comparison not long ago, I realized that when you go back into the King James Bible's Genesis story, the God of the Bible, he didn't really create anything. All he did was take the clay. He took the clay of the already existing matter that was in the primordial dark abyss, because one thing all mythologies have in common, the universe started in a primordial darkness, which it's all just talking about water, the chaotic, uncontrollable waters. Yeah, that's what they mean by the divine feminine, like you're in the mother's womb and you know different anthropomorphic symbolisms and whatnot. So like yeah, but we're not talking about actual entities. We're talking about forces, forces of creation and whatnot. So like yeah, but because people need to realize the universe in and of itself is a massive system. It's a system that is sentient and that it knows exactly what it has to do, because whoever it was that designed this definitely had a plan for it to literally design, like to literally spring out and come out with different like unique patterns, but there's always a pattern to creation. But either way, physical creation in and of itself ain't shit, because at the same time, uh, finishing off what I was making a point on, creation is simply the result of matter, physical matter that had already existed for who knows how long after the initial coming into the physical realm, because matter is also where the word mother comes from, because matter is actually a feminine aspect. However, it's the same reason why is especially in the ancient world you would notice the triple goddess, she always had three aspects to her: a young woman, a motherly figure, and an old woman who's ready to destroy and whatnot, which is very interesting because especially when we're talking about women, just like what Barbara G. Walker mentioned in one of her books, The Crone, Woman of Age, Wisdom, and Power. Society often likes to big up the woman's creative powers, but rarely do they ever talk about her destructive abilities, which once again has to do with our fear, deep seated fear, or rather, not our, but the ego's deep seated fear of not no longer existing, because as you know, uh, this human brain, this piece of shit that we have to deal with on a daily basis, it is the reason why the false self, the human ego, wills itself to want to prove its existence, like a child that just keeps nagging and whining and just doesn't know how to freaking shut up and be quiet. But either way, it's amazing when you really get into it, because yeah, physical creation, as we know, because even when you go into the Gnostic scriptures, it speaks about this demiurge who was born from Sophia, who represents the higher universal feminine wisdom. Yaldabaoth being a representation of the ego. Once again, the ego. You see how it all ties together. The ego, because we've covered Brother Panic videos where Brother Panic broke down what it was that the Gnostics were talking about. Because the Gnostics, unlike the ancient Egyptians and other ancient civilizations that existed around the same time, hundreds of thousands of cycles ago, the Gnostics broke down the origins of the universe, why physical matter exists the way it is, and what it is that you should do in order to elevate yourself spiritually so that you can conquer the illusion of this physical realm. Because one thing people need to remember is that everything in the universe deals with cycles. Like this physical realm we're in, it's only a fucking cycle. Like I really ask myself when I stop and think about it, why do people? Why is it that people have such an issue letting go of this fucking physical realm when the whole story about Satan falling from heaven like lightning, yeah, Satan falling from heaven like lightning, and yeah, fallen angels and all that kind of stuff, which is really just allegorical, metaphorical symbolism based off of how we were great awesome spiritual beings, but for whatever reason, whether we chose to come here or whether we were forced to come down here by whatever matter or whatever means, the fact that we fell from great spiritual glory down to these disgusting physical bodies. I mean, shit really goes deep, and essentially that's all just a long-winded way to say that the physical realm that you see is an illusion. It's really not real, as a matter of fact. To prove what it is I'm saying, you can go on YouTube right now, type in people who don't feel pain, and they're going to go back to what it was that even Bobby Hemmett himself had explained, the human brain. This is the fucking Matrix that the Matrix movies themselves were talking about, as well as all these other movies, because they hide the truth in plain sight in movies, TV shows, cartoons, comic books. This physical realm we're in right now, it is a decaying product. It is rotting, it's degrading, it's dying. I mean, you could even see that in the crackle system. I mean, to say, like, with these fucking humanoids and whatnot, why do you think they're going out of their way to try to keep our attention based off of their bullshit dying system? It's because they know only with our attention, because we have the true creative power to really give or breathe life into something, whether it be for our own benefit or for our own destruction. But the human brain itself is the fucking Matrix, because there are literally people in this realm who literally can't feel pain. That's because the part of the brain that is responsible for that is shut the fuck off. So really, when I stop and think about it, I'm like, geez, if I literally had that part of this brain shut off and that I can't feel pain, it would be just like fucking Pugsley in that, what I think it was the first Adams Family movie where his arm got cut the fuck off, and like I tell you, blood splattering all over, right, Dr. Bass? I'm like, and my boy Pugsley ain't feeling any pain whatsoever. It's like, oh geez, just another day in the life of the Adams Family. The Adams Family, they're really good. I'm really glad the Adams Family exists, because they are a good representation of why you should not be afraid of death. It's something that all of the great teachers, yup, and that's something that many people don't like to fucking talk about, death. But I say, death, much like what Bobby Hemmett and Brother Panic already made clear to us, death is the ultimate plateau. It's the final frontier. Nothing in this fucking physical realm is gonna last forever. Not you, not me, not your mama, not your auntie, not your cousins, not your sisters, not your brothers, not your uncles, not your past teachers or your old bosses that you used to work for, your co-workers, etc., etc. None of these motherfuckers are going to last in this fucking physical realm forever. We know it, and they know it. But the ego, that sly, conniving motherfucker, always tries to keep you attached to this shit that doesn't even exist. Even the ego itself, this beast, this is the beast that even the movie Revolver be telling you you got to fucking control, because without this human brain, without this fucking brain literally sending signals out there trying to keep this illusion alive, there's no reason for you to continue to experience the fucking physical realm and whatnot. So like yeah, that was already a good bit that I summarized, and I'm even surprised at how I managed to fucking summarize that. But whatever, this isn't about me. Birthday boy, Solar Return King, Brandon. Yeah, you take it away, bro, and please remind me what was the second topic that we had to touch, because the first one I just covered it, which is the clay. Essentially, the reality that we're experiencing. Even Hindu mythology itself tells us there are three cycles: creation, preservation, destruction. We're clearly in the destruction phase right now. But a lot of people are keeping this shit alive for whatever reason. And I say, fuck this fucking creation. Indeed, just let this shit go, because new higher realms, better realms need to fucking come in. And yo, I'm gonna say it right here, right now. Dr. Bass, I would love to inaugurate you as the next demiurge, the new god and creator of this fucking physical realm, my brother. Or yeah, the new physical realm. Indeed. Fuck this old creation. Indeed. Do away with the shit so that you could literally rule the new physical realm along with whoever it is that you're gonna rule it with. Because bro, once this shit is all said and done and this physical body hits the ground, I'm looking to go out there, create my own universes, or just do what it is I gotta do. You know what I mean? I don't care if I gotta play ping pong, set a new world record for millions of years. I don't give a fuck. Fuck this physical realm. But bro, pass it back on to you, and please remind me what was the second thing that we had to talk about while you're at it. But take it away, bro.
Oh yeah, definitely appreciate you, bro. And then the other topic was the electromagnetic field. Okay.
Yeah, we'll definitely touch that one. We'll definitely
Oh
touch that
yeah.
one. But yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, so yeah, they gonna really like everything about like this whole realm is like fake at this point, and then they just gonna you don't last, but like the ego will make you attached so you can have like reincarnate to experience it all over again. So that's why it's so important to detach and disconnect. And especially if you got that monster supreme, but that's a whole nother topic. That's a whole nother discussion we can talk about after. But really, for the people who are already dead, like you can't even feel pain. So if you know, like in the middle ground, in between, with being alive and being dead, you can't feel pain. Even in shows, in movies, it pretty much just shows it to us as that. So we really don't even feel pain, and really pain is attached to the mind. So just like if you fall and then you cut yourself open, but if you don't pay attention to it, attention focus goes to where attention goes and everything like that. So like if you don't really pay attention to it, then you won't feel the pain. But once you start focusing on that painful effect, then that's when like that cut feels even feels even more pain and everything like
Yeah,
that.
like you never even paid attention to the cut when it did happen, but as soon as you realize there's a cut, oh shit, the electromagnetic signals within the brain start coming out. They're like, oh damn, there's a cut there. You're feeling pain, but you actually weren't feeling it when the cut had happened. Like for real.
Yeah, definitely. And then at this point, you just gotta like accept death for what it is, because a lot of people really don't even want to talk about it. But when they do talk about it, it's already too late. You know what I'm saying? Plus, like you should have like those conversations where like what you want to experience after death. So like you should have a talk with your spiritual team and pretty much tell them what you want to experience once you leave this physical realm, and also tell the trusted people in your life. So whenever you leave this physical world, you can you can let them know, oh yeah, I want to be cremated, or I want to be buried. But we all know cremation is way better than getting buried. But you know what I'm saying? And then So you won't have like those pastors be doing all that weird other stuff as well. And then this whole system is crashing. We all see it, and basically you just gotta accept things for what it is. And then woman's creative and destruction, because what I'm kind of all over the place. I really kind of don't really know what I'm talking about. I'm gonna be honest. Oh,
Well, you're breaking it down in simple ways that are easy for especially the people who are like new to this stuff. Like break it down in simple layman's terms so that they really get it, bro. Because for us who are already in this and we continue to grow, because you know what, knowledge is infinite, and you always want to get into new knowledge because there's just so much to learn, and you're never gonna know everything there is to know about everything. You know what I mean?
oh yeah, definitely. And then And then for like the clay, it's like you just gotta be the potter of your own clay. So whatever you want to experience, make sure you know that for sure, and just know and be in that knowing space that you can achieve it. So you can attract and magnetize it as well. And yeah, and then I know we were gonna talk about electromagnetics feel like later on. So
Yeah, let's just cover that one time before we start just getting into the videos, bro. But essentially, the electromagnetic sphere, the magnetic sphere that protects this world from so-called solar radiation, and universal radioactive bombardment. You know, like essentially the elements from the void and whatnot, which is interesting because so-called space, as we now know, is actually water. Because you can go back to the Kurt Russell and David Spader movie from 1994. What was the name of that movie? It was a movie about a wormhole man. It was a Kurt Russell and David Spader movie. I'm gonna look up the name of that movie just so yeah, I get it correctly. Just so I get it correctly. Just give me a while, bro. But essentially, the magnetic sphere, a revelation that came to me just yesterday. I was like, wait a minute. People be talking about this light that they be seeing the moment they leave this realm, the moment their physical body hits the ground, and bam, they so-called die, even though they're more alive than ever because they've escaped the physical body, but then there's this light always waiting for them. I'm like, wait a minute, they'd be talking about the moon, and while we know the moon could very well be a dead sun among many things. The magnetic sphere that covers and protects this world from so-called elements from space, which is water, which is water. And so, like, I'm asking myself, right? Wait a minute. So, if space is water and the magnetic field is supposed to be there to protect it from the stuff, to protect it from stuff that is supposed to be coming down here on Earth, but it prevents that. The magnetic sphere in and of itself could also very well be the very same reason why souls have a difficult time of getting out of this realm. And remember, the magnetic sphere in and of itself is it's a force. It's a force of energy. And because it's a force of energy, it is also a force of light. Look, y'all can disagree with me any way we want to because we're not here to agree on everything, but I'm here to literally give a new perspective based off of a self revelation that came from within. So, because it is a force, the magnetic field is a force, it souls that think that they should go onto the light so that they can yeah, I don't know, go to the portal or wormhole or doorway that's supposed to lead out of here. The very same magnetic sphere could very well be the thing that recycles them, spits them back down to this fucking realm, and causes them to fucking reincarnate, having to come through another womb, having to be born in another physical body, having to experience this bullshit all over again. bro, this was a massive revelation that came to me personally. And I'm like, okay, the moon could still be a reason for it because you got books like Who Built the Moon and whatnot. Yeah, I can't remember the name of the authors, but Who Built the Moon? That's another good book to add to your library. But the magnetic sphere around this fucking realm. Really ask yourself, is that really the force that's causing motherfuckers to stay in this realm? Because Primordial Waters Practical Matter covered it when they looked into Judy K. King's book, The Isis Thesis, which I'm going to share some of those videos at the very least. The ancient Egyptians already knew that there's a certain passageway that you need to take within the Tuat. The Tuat being a representation, the Tuat, Duat, whatever you want to call it, is essentially, yeah, the you could say the waterway, the stream which you're supposed to travel, because you could kind of look at it as the astral world, but then again, the astral world is just a higher form, which is still a part of this physical realm. It's just like, yeah, the astral, the more astral light body, the spiritual aspect to it. But either way, the astral world, yeah, is still connected to this physical realm more than anything. But there's a certain passageway you need to take in order for you to access whatever portal, because remember, the Mortal Kombat games were the ones who got it correctly. In order for you to go from one realm to another, you have to take portals. This is especially true within the original timeline games, even though I'm pretty sure the newer games cover this as well. But the original timeline has a more detailed, expanded story and whatnot. So like, yeah, but Mortal Kombat showed us that the only way for you to get out of this realm, or you want to leave one realm to go to another, is to take a portal, a doorway. So really, I ask myself, wait a minute. Stargate. That's the name of the movie, the Kurt Russell movie, which also stars David Spader. Yeah, the director of that movie is Roland Emmerich. So yeah, the movie stars Kurt Russell and James Spader. I said David Spader, pardon me, James Spader. But yeah, Stargate. In that movie, when they opened the Stargate, there was a part in the movie when they opened the Stargate. What was the first thing that actually came out of the Stargate? Water. Water. The very same primordial waters. And bro, here's another good revelation I came onto. So people call the dome that's covering this realm, because if you don't realize that um we are separated from space by a dome, if people don't know that, yeah, please do your research. Please do your research. I'm not here to talk about round earth. I'm not here to talk about flat earth. I don't even care if this earth is a fucking boot. I don't care if it's a fucking line. I don't care if it's a goddamn pencil. Because the one thing that is for certain, like what Brother Panic said, and this makes so much sense, if people ever come ask you, are you a round earther or a flat earther? Just tell them, I want to get the fuck off of this shit earth. For real, bro, my brother. You just want to get the fuck up out of this bullshit. But yeah, the first thing that came out of the Stargate in that movie was water, which shows you that space, as they want to call it, is water. We're talking about primordial waters, which are the same waters from which, yeah, the worlds and all of the celestial bodies and whatnot were formed. I mean, this shit goes deep, right? But either way, it's not rocket science. It's just stuff that you need to get into and see what it is that the ancestors, that the ancients all left behind for us. And ask yourself one question, considering that these humanoids be going around killing, raping, stealing, eating children, and be yeah, they take our instruments of power and put it in their bullshit museums and whatnot. Ask yourself, what is it that's so important within those museums that they don't even want us to fucking go in there? The miles and miles of libraries that they have in there. But essentially, going back to what it was that we mentioned, the electromagnetic field is definitely the thing that's keeping souls from having to leave this realm easy peasy. So like, yo, bro, this is some very interesting stuff. It's some very, very interesting stuff that, yo, you could disagree all you want, but essentially these are just revelations that came to me when I really stopped and thought about it. I mean, like, seriously, people gotta learn to stop and really question everything. And just like how I came to the realization that that sun up there, if that sun up there really is miles and miles away, then how the hell are we fucking feeling it? How is it that we're feeling it here in this realm? Because, bro, the sun and the moon, they're clearly within the dome with us. They're in the dome with us. And there's a fucking dome that's covering this realm, which could very well be the electromagnetic field in and of itself. But either way, Brandon, I've already yapped for far too long. Take it away, bro, and please break it down in layman's terms so that people can really grasp the significance of how there is a pattern, a design to this fucking world that we live in, and that it's really the shittiest, stupidest, lousiest video game that we have experienced thus far. And I ask myself, as I'm passing it back on to you, right, bro? Why are more souls continuing to be born? Why are there more spiritual beings continuing to come to this fucking place when this is a decaying creation, just like what ancient mythologies show us? I mean, it's absolute nonsense, right, bro? But either way, bro, take it away.
Oh yeah, it's like with these little humans and everything like that, they always be talking about like the circle of life and everything like that. So when you really even think about it, why once you come down in this realm, they just want you to stay in this realm. So that's why when you die, they just want you to go back up. And like how you said with the electromagnetics field, it's way it it shows like light. So like once you go in, it pops you right back down. So it's just it's like a recycle type of thing. It's like we use, recycle type joint. You get what I'm saying? And then for the people who are just coming back into this realm, the with their decay and everything like that, it's uh, like a lot of people who don't even deserve to be have the title of a parent is just constantly just like mating with their partner so they can just have more children and everything like that. And they think that's like building their legacy and everything like that. But really, if you're not putting in that discipline, if you're not putting in those quality um, skills within the child, then you're really just not leaving your legacy behind because the child will grow up being like you, which is a NPC, a background character. So at this point, you're just creating like non-playable characters at this point. And then with the electromagnetic field, like since it's within the dome, all the spiritual, like how we are so spiritual and in the spiritual realm, we can manifest instantly and it happens instantly. But since in this physical realm, within the electromagnetic sphere, it's a blockage. So the blessings try to come down from the spiritual realm within this dome, but it keeps getting blocked. So like finally it's kind of like chipping it away and trying to like forge itself within this realm. But it's just time to eliminate the electromagnetic field because that's what really is blocking everything at this point. And this is the only thing that these beasts actually have that is working in their favor, which is the electromagnetic field. Because if they don't have that, then all the higher realms and all the spiritual realms will come downhill and really start to move forward and everything like that. So that's why they just want you to keep being distracted and not really talk about these type of topics. And that's why they never talk about the electromagnetic field because they always talk about like, oh yeah, the Area 51 and which is within the United States within this realm and everything like that. But yes, it really it's just crazy how people really think this realm is really valuable when all the higher realms is way above this. So we'll like literally should be experiencing the higher spiritual realms, but we're just down here experiencing this day-to-day life, which is could be the illest joint, which could be the illest slow moving energy. It's like a lot of people really think this is really, what I'm saying, cats and rainbows out here in the streets, but You know what I'm saying? If you really have like that higher mind and see like the bigger picture of it, everything, then you can really see like this film is not what it used to be, and it definitely got changed, and we definitely have to take back what's ours and just like forget these people, leave these people behind, and especially the humanoids and everyone who is following the beast, because at this point it should be like a trickling effect. The electromagnetic field should go first, then the humanoids who are empowering the system, and then these beasts. But it doesn't really matter. They can all go at the same time. It really doesn't matter. But this has to happen right now because I mean, like 6 months in, you know what I'm saying? That's
Yeah, for real, man, bro. For real. Like, it's about time that we literally started experiencing newer, better, higher realms, a new creation, and simply just, yeah, manifesting and living the full totality of that which we truly are. Because, like, yeah, this whole creation and this whole system and whatnot, there's no reason for us to continue this shit. I'm telling you, a lot of people are really just afraid of letting go of this. A lot of people are just afraid of letting go of this when the whole reality of it all is we should yeah, just let it go. We should let it go. We should really all just let it go. There's no reason for this fucking realm to continue. We've reached, remember the triple goddess that we mentioned earlier? We've reached the crone, the old woman stage. The old woman is coming in with the sickle because that's actually where the Grim Reaper symbolism come from. I believe Rhea. I believe Rhea, one of the Greek goddesses, but I think Rhea, uh, she is one of the archetypes of the Grim Reaper aspect of a hooded figure with a scythe coming to reap the harvest and whatnot. And Kronos would later take it on in more in later daytimes, like with patriarchy and all that nonsense. But either way, it's about time the Grim Reaper started coming and started swiping motherfuckers up out of here. Because just like what Isis Wisdom, I believe that's the sister's name. Yeah, that's what she calls herself. She literally made mention with Black Magic 363 in a live they had months ago, almost a cycle ago now, which makes so much sense. But even Dolores Cannon, a so-called white woman, she herself made mention of this when Ty Spiritual himself spoke about it. There are too many beings in this realm right now that have no freaking business of even being here, bro. All these motherfuckers just absolutely soiling up, messing up, and just like absolutely causing they're just causing the energies to go awry. And yeah, this shit needs to be cleaned up. It has to seriously be cleaned up, my brother, for real, for real, for real. But either way, bro, we're gonna get into the videos. The first video is with Bobby Hemmett. How to avoid reincarnation. I think we're gonna go in that order as I have a few more videos to share. But yeah, bro, like seriously, we're on a roll because it's about time that we literally just all let this shit go. It's for the few elect to literally awaken and put an end to this shit. Because just like John Carpenter's 1994 movie based off of H.P. Lovecraft, In the Mouth of Madness, it's about time the great old ones bust through the door so that we could literally take control of this shit once again. But this creation has to be destroyed though, so take it away, bro.
yeah. Think
In the context of you die, and when you say like on Earth, when you see the eyes, that man's gone. That man who's gone, what's what does he see, hear, experience? Is there pain? What's the next thing? What's the first thing on his agenda as he going? So what happens when he dies?
It all depends on where your consciousness is, or what type of death you have. There could be a painful death, and then there could be a death where, for instance, somebody can get knocked outside of their body so fast until they don't know they're dead, and will go home and knock on the door and nobody answers. About like what happened in the movie Ghost. You remember what's your boy in there? Patrick Swayze. And he didn't know he was dead at first because he got snatched out of his body so quick. And when he got home and all, he didn't realize why nobody wasn't recognizing him. And part of the movie, which was an excellent movie, you see, that came out in 1990, part of the movie was based on him trying to get a foothold on why, on what happened when he died. Most people, when they first die, they'll go see this light. It's called the astral light. The astral light is the astral plane. It is set up to retrieve the soul, to get it trapped back in a cycle of reincarnation. So when you go towards the light, it is the astral light, which is the astral plane, which is ruled by a group of entities called the demiurge, or the Devashanic plane is what it's called. It's ruled by the Deva spirits, the Orishas, or the Olympian spirits.
So now, are the Orishas, should we be walking, which this goes into the third question, which is, and we can merge these two together, as, you know, the walking towards the light, and should this, like in the 80s, from when I was a child, you always hear people with these death experience. I seen my family there. I seen uncles and grandfathers saying, come towards the light.
Right.
So that that we can merge both of these questions together.
Okay, right.
Are they helping us?
No, those are souls that's trapped. Let me give you a pyramid structure of how this thing goes.
Okay.
You got two realms. You have the Devashanic plane, which basically snatched the souls up to get them ready for a cycle of reincarnation. Now that reincarnation can be 50 years, 100 years. The older the soul, the longer it takes to reincarnate. Younger, and especially those ones that don't have a soul, because you do have those people, they can reincarnate faster. So you can reincarnate faster. We'll give you the what's going on here. It's being ruled by a group of entities called the demiurge, the Olympian deities, the Orishas, the Devas, the shining ones, and their light is a prism. It's the astral light. And in so many words, they get you into this cycle of reincarnation, or what I would like to say, reincarceration. Doing time on planet Earth, reincarceration.
I see.
You see what I'm saying? This is the lowest plane. No one really needs to really be here or wants to be here that's got good sense, other than when you take on a human body. You are duped into being here, because the first thing happens, which is so bad about it, is if you came back as an adult, you would understand the game. Hey, wait a minute. I'm doing this shit over and over and over again. That's why they snatch you back into a small brain of a baby, which means that that small brain is almost like a piece of oblivion. It's so dumb until it has to regain memory. And although it's regaining memory, and it has certain elements of the previous life, as it gets more and more molded into the life that it is now incarnated in, that life basically diminishes or extinguishes the life prior to it. So the brain is developed to, number one, tap into, or number one, coincide with the life that it is reincarnated into, and give data, and to basically notice the world that is encased in. But it's also developed to somehow suppress the previous life, which is only in the memory of the soul, which the connection of that soul is the pineal gland, the brain up under the brain.
Okay.
So in so many words, all this is a cosmic trick by a group of entities that only exist through your ignorance of your soul and your knowledge of the universe that gives them their energy. So in so many words, they exist through you. There's a story before H.P. Lovecraft. there was another guy by the name of Lord Doomsley that was having these dreams. For him, it was Bulwer Lytton was having these dreams. 1800, Lord Doomsley was the early 1900s, and he wrote a book called The Gods of Pegana. And he talked about how this great mother went to sleep, and these children in this particular case is these particular false beings. They're prisms. They don't have the power to be the gods of the universe or the gods of the omniverse, but they have the power to create an alternative world for themselves by trapping souls in those worlds, and those souls are being dumbed down based on some type of trap. That is the human brain that is developed from a child. So the gods of Pegana talks about they have one particular god that is one of these children gods, and he beats this drum. And he beats this drum to keep a certain pulsation of sleep, you see, for not only the great mother who's in a slumber, but the children that's in a slumber. And should that beat ever stop, the old gods will wake up. You see what I'm saying? In this particular case, if you break it back down to the human physiology, it's talking about the brain. It's talking about the brain. Some of the Gnostic material, Bentley Layton's book will make mention about the children, but one, a book from the 1950s called Gnostic Religion by Hans Jonas gets into that particular, Gnostic Religion by Hans Jonas gets into that particular part about the children, the babies. And the babies. So in so many words, what I'm saying here, this is incarceration by a group of subordinate deities that gained a foothold on the earth and the universe or whatever, while the pristine deities went into a form of a hibernation.
So now, and this
so that the demiurge, so that light that you go to is their realm.
So
they're tricking you into that, right? Right. To be free of them is to go to the dark, which is the realm of primal sleep.
Oh, okay.
Primal sleep. So they talk about this. When a man sleeps, he goes to his true self. The Quran says when a man sleeps, he is dead. You see, but it's a primal realm that inside, but also although it's a primal realm, when you're inside of this physical realm, it is so opposite this realm until you usually have fear of it, especially children.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Especially children. We'll get into that particular aspect.
I want to ask you this now, because you mentioned this, the Orishas
Yeah.
are part of the demiurge.
Yes.
Now, a lot of these brothers walk around, they want to tap into the Orishas.
Yes.
So are you saying the Orishas are
Yes, let me give you, yes.
on our side?
Yeah, let me give you a brief history of that. You got Olodumare, who is this father, who is supposed to be the father, but he's more of a father of the astral plane. Legba, Ogun, Obatala, Shango have their hands on creating the earth. They shut Oshun out a little bit, but they have their hands on creating the earth. And in the concept of that, there's some pre-creation deities that are in opposition for them creating the earth. It's the same biblical story of, let me give you an example, the biblical story of Satan and his spawn saying, we're not going to bow down to man. You see what I'm saying? And God saying, you need to bow down to man. It's really a deeper story than that. We just get the edited myth, but if you get a greater mythology that the Jews have now, have our stuff, there's there's a book by the name of Rappaport. It's called The Legends of Israel, and in there they have an extended version of this thing. And you find out in actuality this is a a cosmic drama that's being played between Satan and his angels and stuff. And the reason why they didn't want to bow down to man in this particular thing is a greater story. They didn't want to become man. So they was rejecting becoming into a physical body. So bowing down was, oh, get used to it, humble yourself, and be our slaves. But Satan just remembered, no, we're not that. We're gods of light. But they had to get used to this particular physical body. Well, it's the same thing happened in this Orisha myth. The one you want to get is a book called Good and Evil. That's the name of this thing. It's called Good and Evil in Europe or something. I've said it on some of my things. It's a book by a guy that's dead now by the name of Margie. And in there they talk about this struggle between these gods that don't want to be in the human form, and they go to battle with Elegbar and these crew who created this particular earth for them to be into. And as a result, Elegbar and them ultimately wins. It's the same story, which makes Elegbar and them these demiurge type characters. They are Olympian deities. So if you want to get a better clarity, you compare this with the Titan story, or the Titans not wanting to be cast down, but Zeus strikes them with an arrow and burn them up and then use their ashes to make man. You see what I'm saying? Those Titans are pristine deities that rule the universe prior to the younger group of deities who are subordinate deities that want to create this box job wonder world for themselves by using the older material to trap them down in this thing. So it's the same thing, it's the same demiurge material. I would say so there's several myths, but one of them would be the Titan myth. You see, one would be the Gnostic myth and all, and even the Egyptian myth in the coffin text. In the coffin text, they talk about Ra being old and feeble. He invites all the gods.
Well, bro, I know we covered that video already, but essentially, yeah, the information, it just gets better and better as time passes, you know what I mean? I mean to say, you simply have to come to the comprehension, the higher knowledge, to know that the demiurge and the demiurge and the illusion that this that Bobby was explaining within that live is the human brain. And he mentioned it, he briefly mentioned it, but it's actually the human brain. Because think about it, the worst thing, and it's already said that. It's already said that. I think Alvin Boyd Kuhn mentioned it in his books. He mentioned it in his books, Who is This King of Glory, but as well as The Lost Light. He mentioned it in his books. Ignorance is definitely the enemy of man. The fact that so many people are not aware of this important information is proof that ignorance, not the cracker, not the other humanoids or anything, these motherfuckers are just doing whatever they can to try to live, because, yeah, it is the absolute necessity of every creature down in this illusionary realm to want to stay alive without knowing. It reminds me of a movie that Tom Cruise starred in the early 2000s, which was based off of a 1997 Spanish movie, Open Your Eyes, where the main character near the end of each film comes to find out that they're actually living in this elaborate simulation that their mind was hooked up to when their physical body was absolutely scarred and damaged after a car accident. So like a deep movie for Tom Cruise, it's called Vanilla Sky. But the 1997 Spanish movie that it was based off of is Open Your Eyes. I recommend people to go check out those two movies because good stuff, good stuff. Like it really goes to show you life is but a dream indeed. But Dr. Bass, just like break it down, like the human brain is most definitely your enemy simply because it is the thing that makes all of this look real when your true self much like in the gods of Pegana, as Bobby so graciously mentioned, should Manayut Sushai, the true great one, ever wake up, all of the realms will cease to exist. But take it away just before we move into the next video with Brother Panic, bro.
Oh yeah, yo, all of a sudden my computer has been going all crazy and whatnot. I can't even like
Oh,
move
really?
my mouse and whatnot. You already know like how these entities be playing around and whatnot. I don't even
Oh,
know if
gee,
I can.
jeez. Is
Uh,
there is there maybe something maybe you could like start it up restart it and see if it work, bro?
yeah, I can probably like restart it and then
Yeah,
maybe.
restart it and whatnot. But either way, yeah. While that's while you're definitely looking to take care of that, yeah, just share with the people based off of what it is that we yeah just shared with them right there, my brother. Because this is stuff people need to come out of the ignorance of what this universe is, what this world is, and what it is that they should be doing in order to move beyond all of this.
Oh yeah, I feel like a lot of people just need to start to mm, be more aware of what's really going on in this realm and just like um really just to see how everything is transpiring and transcending above this realm and really just to really know that like this realm is not it, like how they were talking about the soul traps and the cosmic tricks and how they just trying to repurpose all these souls just to keep their system alive because without us we empower the system, so they need us to continue running the system, but they just because they don't have any power, so really they just need us more than we need them. And I'm gonna see if this the video can just keep going, but like we'll see what happens.
Yeah, you try playing it now, bro.
And one more question, if
Okay, there
anyone
we go.
don't mind, just hear me out. Is it
Yes,
true
go
that
ahead, bro.
is it true that we are Lucifer and his 200 fallen angels?
Absolutely, because what Lucifer represents, Lucifer is the light bearer. The light
Right.
is your soul. Your body is bearing your soul. Your body, humanity, is Lucifer. Simple as that. These,
Okay.
as we were talking about earlier, Lucifer, Satan, the fall, Baphomet, the dark side, all of these negative polarity, positive polarity, all of these are different ways to explain how you were in heaven as the shit. You were in Zamunda. The royal penis is clean. Then your ass went to Queens, to Earth, to find Lisa.
Okay.
Let them have our princely robes. And your version, just like Eddie Murphy had to work at McDowell's, had to go to church, had to go to the barbershop, there's a big rat in my house, got a milkshake thrown on him. And how he was all of those things are represented as evil or the devil, as lowly, as blah, blah, blah. But when they give you the concept of the devil, they're trying to explain what your humanity is. Lowly, evil, greedy, gluttonous, sloth, envy. All of these things are what humans do. I don't give a fuck how nice you are. You're still going to be envious, greedy, sloth. But it's built into our system to be envious. That's why we watch MTV Cribs. You know what I'm saying? It's everywhere. So this is what the energy of Lucifer is. Actual people, no such a thing. This is trying to explain, because you need to know exactly where you are before you can go anywhere. How do you get to my house? You don't know where the fuck you are. So you go to Panic, how do I get to your house? All right, where you live at? I don't know. Then I don't know how to tell you to get the fuck over here. So if you know you are Lucifer, then you know your destination is the Christ energy or your father's business. So you're in negative polarity, the dark side. I am Lucifer. I am the devil. Now I am Christ. Because I at least know who the fuck I am and where I'm going. If you don't even know you Lucifer, you haven't even started your project yet.
Right. Okay.
So all these days, I ain't the devil. The devil ain't got nothing to do with me. I feel sorry for them because they don't even know where they at. They think they the light workers. So all these niggas who come as the light workers, you're missing a vital step. The vital step is to step into the darkness and understand Lucifer to actually become the light. So you're working with light. All you're doing is admiring. I'm the microwave worker. Why? Because I plugged it in? No. Heat it up. Cook some shit. So you are Lucifer. We are that, but that is trying to symbolically tell you of your energy as a human. And the smart human is actually Lucifer.
That's right.
The smart human is actually Lucifer, the light.
All right.
And the smart human only represents the person who knows he's a fucking human and humanity ain't shit. That's when you become the king of humanity, when I know it ain't shit. When you master humanity, you're the father of hell. I'm the father of hell because I know how to master my humanity. And now you niggas can have that shit. You can have Lucifer tempts you because that's saying humanity is saying you can have all the riches of the world. And as a conscious person, no, I'm about my father's business. Who's your father? Your subconscious mind. Because your mind is the only thing that's you. And if your mind is the only thing that's you, and your mind represents Christ or Jesus or Horus on earth, then who's your father? Osiris, the god. I'm about my father's business, your subconscious mind. That's all it is. We have to take these mystical, outside of ourselves concept that you learn from church and start applying it to your human body, to your human thinking system, to your mind. That's what every goddamn mythology is talking about. All we're talking about is mythology. Even the devil falling to earth is nothing more than a mythology. It's a mythology because it never happened, and there are stories over and over about this fall.
Correct.
All right.
All right, brother.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, let me go to the next one.
Well, bro, what could I say? What you call it? Yeah, Brother Panic. He really made it so crystal clear that anyone who's not even those who are not into the occult should be able to grasp the essence of the message, because it's not the messenger that you're supposed to pay attention to. It's the essence of the message. Don't even pay attention to how it is that I'm sharing the message. Pay attention to the message itself. Humanity is Lucifer. It simply means, because even on Primordial Waters Practical Matter, it's they explained how you calling yourself Brandon, that's just simply you regarding the fact that you are Lucifer. You are a fallen being who's now in a physical body, who's supposed to go on the hero's journey to literally get back to your true self. David Adams' Leeming book, Mythology, Voyage of the Hero. Remember, everything is a hero's journey. You are supposed to be working your way to get back up to the level from which you fell and to even move further beyond that. So yeah, just simply break it down, bro, because Lucifer, a lot of people think that Lucifer is the enemy and they don't want to have nothing to do with Lucifer, equating it with Satan and whatnot. And I'm like, man, I'm really grateful for teachers like Bobby Hemmett, Brother Panic, and all of them, because really, how do you expect to experience heaven if you don't even go through hell? That's really not how it works. But either way, take it away before we get into the next video with brother Yosef, bro.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like a lot of people don't even realize they have to master Lucifer before they can become a god or go to heaven. So at this point, you just have to realize that once you master both sides, because it's like everything is just energy at this point. So it's like a double-edged sword. So you can be too much on one side than the other. So you just have to have that balance. And then once you come into that balance, then you know how to master yourself fully. And then that's when you can master humanity. And then like, yeah, then you can really help other people out as well.
Yeah, I'm telling you, my brother, you got to, and just like you said, and the problem with melanated people as a whole, they have been too merciful to those who don't deserve any more mercy. Like seriously, they have been too comfortable within their humanity, and humanity is the number one thing that we should be going against. I mean, I'm not saying that, yeah, you should just go pick up a AK-47 or a rocket launcher or an Uzi and just start blasting motherfuckers on the streets, even though that would be amazing in and of itself, like Grand Theft Auto vibes up in this motherfucker. But I mean to say, like, and by the way, it would have to be especially these corporate moguls, these leaders in corporations and governments who definitely would deserve that type of shit for real. But either way, it's all about recognizing that humanity is the flaw, humanity is the disease, humanity is the enemy. Once you can mentally process that and you work your way spiritually to move beyond humanity, then you've already put yourself in the position so that when death literally comes knocking on your door, you literally just invite it in and be like, yo, where were you all these years, man? Get me up out of this motherfucker. For real, my brother, because it's about time that we literally start embracing death, because it's no wonder why they also don't accept Pluto as a planet. Why? Because Pluto represents that Scorpio energy, death, rebirth, and transformation. The old has to die. You have to be reborn and be transformed into a new, greater entity. I mean, seriously, this is the kind of stuff that they should be teaching in these bullshit churches and mosques and whatnot. But I mean, hey, we already know the reason why, even now in 2024, they're never going to want to make this mainstream. You know what I mean, bro?
Oh yeah, definitely. They don't want all this knowledge to be mainstream because then that's when people are starting to wake up and really we just have to get over humanity because at this point all these people you walk down the street, all these people that you be seeing and everything like that, sooner or later they're just gonna be headed to the slaughterhouse and you're just gonna be like, oh well, there goes another human, you know what I'm saying? So at this point it is what it is.
It is what it is. But you know, the best thing about it is, bro, is when you come to this knowledge, you could definitely start to see everything for what it truly is. And as we get into Brother Yosef's video, he makes a very good explanation of why, especially when it comes to, because remember, the God of the Bible is the King James Bible. He clearly tells you he's the God of the living and not the God of the dead. So what are these pastors and these motherfuckers doing praying in the name of this bullshit God who clearly only has everything to do with this illusionary, non existent physical realm? So, really, people should be getting back into the esoteric, deep teachings that our ancestors left behind for us so that we could literally put ourselves in a better position, especially for when we're ready to leave this fucking world, that it all goes easy peasy. Because, bro, to move beyond this world is to literally just get the fuck up out of here, have all the cords cut, and to be sure that we can move on to greater, higher experiences, far greater than anything we could ever imagine. But yeah, anything that you want to add as we get to Brother Yosef's video, bro? A burial versus cremation, or the difference between burial and cremation?
Oh nah, you've been killing it, man. Yo,
Nah, it's definitely the Solar Return King who's definitely got it going on. You were the one who made it possible, bro. You're the one who made it possible. So big shout out to you.
let's get it started.
Yeah.
All right, peace to the family, peace to the tribe, peace to the New Life Tools tribe, peace to the TP tribe, the Watchatory Nation. This is your brother, Brother Yosef, and I am back with another video. So, as promised, family, I told you guys I would do
It's
another
a good
video.
one right here. So people really got to pay attention to what the brother is sharing.
Here, and in this video here, fam, we're going to talk about cremation versus being buried. The science of being cremated versus science of being buried. Okay. Now, to start this conversation out, family, we got to talk about some things that people may not see as positive, which is death, okay? So if you have a negative mindset, this video ain't really for you because you may not really get what I'm trying to say, okay? But if you pay attention to what I'm saying, you will understand that what I'm saying is true. It's very true, okay? So before we get into the cremation and the burial part, which is very simple to understand, I want to get you guys to understand something about the life that you live. I want you guys to understand something about what you're experiencing right now. And the first thing I want you to understand is death is a transformation process, family. Okay? Death is not something that happens to you in a moment because somebody cut in front of you and you died in a car accident, or you was in the streets and somebody shot you, or you got sick. You got sick all of a sudden and just died. No, death is a transformation process, and it's always creeping up on you. And out of anything that's going to happen to you in this world, one thing is for sure is you're going to die one day. That's a fact, and everybody knows that. So you should be preparing yourself to live your life to the fullest, because that's really what death is about. Preparing for death is about living your life to the fullest, and I'm jumping ahead of myself. But I wanted you guys to understand, first of all, that death is a process. It happens over time. So even if you do get in a car accident, it ain't something energy that you picked up in the last week. It's energy you've been picking up over time until the energy of death was able to take you. That's something you guys got to understand. So nobody just dies like that. It's based on, you can call it karma, okay? But it's based on energy that you build up over time that eventually takes you out of here, okay? That's what it is. It's a transformation process. And once it happens to you, family, you're still not dead. It's a whole process to dying. It's a whole process to death. Okay, so I want you guys to understand that. Because your soul cannot go. Your body dies, but your soul cannot go. Okay? So I want you guys to really, really understand that, all right? Now, this is something that you guys really got to understand. Because you're actually experiencing life while you're dying. Right? And that's simple to understand because from the day you come out of your mother's womb, you're on the verge of, you're eventually going to die. So you're dying every day as you come out of the womb. That's a fact. You're not getting younger anymore. You're getting older. And we all know the older you get, eventually everybody meets their death. And it doesn't have to be anything negative. We live in a world where, especially because of Christianity and religion, we think that, man, I'm scared of death because if I'm not ready, then I can go to hell or heaven. A lot of people think that. But people are only scared of death because they're not ready for death. They haven't lived enough. Right? They haven't experienced life because life can only be experienced in a realm of death. You live in a realm of death. The material world, the physical world is death. Right? It is death, it is destruction. It is not something that lasts forever. It decays over time. So you live in a realm of low vibratory energy, and everything down here dies one day. Trees, plants, and everything fades away. Everything with a consciousness down here, the form of it fades away in the physical form. It fades away. So you are in the realm of death. You need to understand that, family. You can call it a hell state. You can call it whatever you want, but that's what you are. You are in a realm of death. So while you're here, you need to learn the lessons. Remember, life is not a lesson. Life is not a blessing. It's a lesson. Learn the lesson, lift the curse. So if you only experience life down here in the realm of death, then life can hurt you, family. Okay? Life can hurt you. So you need to learn how to live while you're down here because you're dying. Everybody's dying. The question is, how much have you lived? So life can only be experienced on the third dimension. It can only be experienced on the third dimension through death. Okay? Because you're dying and you're trying to live. So what I mean by trying to live is a lot of people think that they're living because they go to the club every weekend or they go to the bar. That's not living, family. You're just having fun. Living is not always about having fun. It's about having experiences. So you have to ask yourself a question. Are you having fun in your life? Or are you having experiences? Some experiences you have are scary, right? Some experiences you have are scary, but it made you, like you may learn how to swim for the first time. It may not be fun at first because you're scared you're going to drown, but it's an experience. And that experience is a tool that you can learn that can take you through life. You can learn how to swim, right? You may want to jump out of an airplane. It may be exciting, right? But it's also dangerous. But at the same time, it's living. So I'm not saying don't have fun. I'm saying that don't make your life based on fun, right? Starting a business is an experience and it's scary, right? A lot of people are afraid to start their businesses. A lot of people are afraid to step out into the world, but that's a part of living. And you can only experience that while you're dying. So starting a business is not fun. It can be scary. Now coming up with ideas are fun. When we're actually doing it, so say you start a real estate business and you're trying to buy so many properties a month, it can be scary because what if you don't meet that quota? What if you don't buy that many properties every month? What if you start a food stand and nobody shows up? Some businesses fail. That's a fact. So starting a business can be scary, but it's a part of the experience of life. So that's what I mean by life is not always fun, family, but it should be experienced. And we live in a world where it can only be experienced through death, okay? Through the physical world, which is death, that we live in, okay? So you have to learn how to experience life and understand that it's a death process, family, okay? I had to write some notes down because I keep forgetting what I'm gonna say a lot of time, all right? So, so family, I want you guys to understand this. Life is uncontrolled chaos. It is chaos that can't be controlled. That's what life is, right? But you learn how to control life by understanding death and by preparing for death. You control life. Life is uncontrolled chaos. It is suffering. You can suffer. People kill themselves because their life hard, right? People kill themselves because they say their life is hard. Life can be suffering for a lot of people. You can struggle financially. You can struggle with your health, right? You can struggle in so many different ways in life, right? So you need to understand, family, that once you understand that you're not going to be here forever, you'll take life more serious. You'll take life more serious. So that's what I mean by going back to that. If you learn about death, you will actually learn what life is, because life is a part of death. Life is an experience that we have while we're dying. Right? You're asleep right now. When you're in the physical world, you're asleep. It's a state of death. Right? It's a state of death. So you have to understand that, family. You are not at your full potential because your consciousness is asleep and you're trying to wake your consciousness up in a lower vibration. So I want you guys to understand that. So by starting a business for your family, leaving generational wealth, um, um, making yourself have a good name in this world, you are preparing for death. You are making sure the next generation is set, because you know one day you're going to leave here. So you go hard every day, right? You have fun along the way. You have some experiences along the way. But more importantly is you focus on your business. You focus on your business because you know you got to leave something behind for the next generation. And I'm going to tell you like this, even if you don't have children, leave something for your nieces and nephews. Try your best to leave a legacy, right? Because that's all part of the death process. I say this all the time, and I'll tell it again, I didn't really experience life until my daughter was born. I thought I was experiencing life. But when she was born, my world came down crashing because I started to realize I got to prepare myself for death. Because if I die today, I have nothing to leave this girl, right? So I started the process of studying business, studying law, studying life in general. I started to have more experience. I started taking my daughter on different experiences so she could remember things, right? Having her see different things, because I know I'm not going to be here forever. And she still has to have experiences in her life. And I want to teach her how to experience life. Her life is her own. But I want to teach her the same thing, baby girl. While you going through life, you got to understand, have experiences so you can learn, because that's what you're here to do. You're here to learn the lesson. But at the same time, understand and leave something behind for the next generation. Leave some generational wealth or something for the next generation, because you're going to die one day. We're all going to go. Right? And we have to understand that. And once you understand that, family, it'll make you live more. So this is why a lot of young people are immature, because they're young. They don't really think about leaving this planet. But when you have something to live for, it's different. So it's like Martin Luther King said, a man who has not found something to die for, I believe it was Martin Luther King that said this, a man who has not found something to die for is not fit to live. I'll say that again. A man who has not found something to die for is not fit to live. Right? And what's that thing that Brother Bobby said years ago? He said, I think he said Leonardo da Vinci was on his deathbed, and he said, all my life I've been learning how to live. I should have been learning how to die. What does that mean? That means he should have been preparing for the day of his death. There's nothing to be afraid of when it comes to death. But if you ain't ready, and a lot of people, when they pass away, they regret what they didn't do on the physical world. So Have experiences. Have fun, but don't base your life on fun. Have experiences. Some experiences could be fun, but some experiences can be scary. The scary experiences will grow you. You will grow. Okay? And that's something you need to do. And that's something you're here to do. We need to challenge ourselves, family. Okay? That's so important because it's funny because when you live, you can suffer, right? But when you die, what do they say? Rest in peace. So, to some degree, there's a peace around death that people have in their mind. But at the same time, people are afraid to die. You know, I did a video on my Patreon a while ago based on the Steven Seagal movie, Marked for Death. And the title of the video was Everybody Want to Go to Heaven, but nobody want dead. Y'all remember that part, right? Everybody want to go to heaven, but nobody want dead. Right? That was so funny. That's my favorite part of that movie. Because that was so true. That was so true. Meaning that everybody want to have a good time and be in the heavenly state, but you got to die to get there. Nobody want to die. Right? Nobody want to die to experience heaven. Because people are afraid. Okay? So, after the body dies, family, after you do experience death, which is in the process, the body still goes through a process of leaving the earth. Okay? When you pass away, family, you don't leave the earth immediately. Nobody does. Unless you have like a fifth dimensional body where you can just go to another dimension. But for the most part, 99% of the people on this planet, when they die, they linger around the earth for a couple days. Okay, they may disappear and then reappear somewhere else, and disappear and reappear somewhere else. That's usually what happens, right? Now, some people with a low consciousness, they just remember waking up in the other side. And they don't remember walking the earth for like a couple days after they pass away. That's actually what happens to a lot of people. So this is why when people die, they'll actually go to their funeral. That's right. There'll actually be people who will actually try to grab their relatives and grab their family members at funerals because they don't understand fully what's going on. Right? They got in a car accident and they died like that, and their spirit was knocked out of their body. They died so fast. A lot of times people who pass away like that, they don't even know they died. So when somebody walked up behind them and shot them in the head, they don't even know they died. So they're confused a lot of times. So they'll be trying to grab I've seen this stuff. They'll be at funeral homes, even at hospitals. I used to work in a hospital, and I've seen people die on a table, and they'll be trying to console their mother, or grab their wife. They'll be trying to do this stuff, and it don't work. And then they'll disappear. I'll see them do something, and then they'll fade away. Right? And then sometimes they don't understand that they're putting more pressure and sadness on the family because they're trying to linger around. And sometimes the family members can feel them. Like, I can feel you, Dad. I can feel you, Grandpa. Grandma, I can feel you around me. Right? And these people don't know, because most of our people haven't really practiced spirituality like that. They don't know that they should go on. You're hurting your family by lingering around, making them feel like you're still around them. You need to go on, you know, and you know, let this death process continue. So a lot of times they'll see the light, just like in the movie Ghost, and they'll just walk away from it. Once again, they regret, right? They didn't leave anything behind. They'll see their family suffering, struggling with money, trying to pay for the funeral. They don't have nothing. So they hate that, and they be trying to console their family. Well, it's too late now, right? It's too late. And family, this is why rites and rituals should be done over the body, or even after the body's gone, but really before the body. Some people do it after, but before the body is gone, the rites and rituals should be done if you're going to bury the body. Now, here we're going to burying and cremation. I don't recommend people being buried. Okay? At one time, I wanted to be buried because I didn't want my body to be burned up. But once I understood the science of it, plus I'm gone already, right? Once I understood the science of it, it's actually better to be cremated, family. Okay? It's better to be cremated. And I'm going to go into that. I'm going to tell you why. If you don't do the correct death rites over a body when they're buried, the body can slowly decay, and the person will literally walk around in a spirit world, the astral plane, for hundreds of years before they become conscious. That's right. They can walk around for hundreds of years, 100 to a few hundred years, depending on how fast their body decays, and they can become, you know, conscious. And they won't be conscious, right? They'll be walking around the astral plane like zombies. I know, I see it all the time to this day. There's people just walking around just like they don't know where they are. They walking in a daze. That's because their body's not fully gone. Their body's not fully decayed. So sometimes they can come back to Earth, back and forth to Earth. And that's not good. You don't want ghosts walking around, right? You don't want that. So this is why cremation is buried, because it will allow that spirit to go directly to where it needs to go in the astral plane, and it can stay there, right? It can stay there, family. And also it allows a person to wake up faster when they pass away. Okay? So the person will actually wake up consciously and know they're in the astral plane when the body's cremated. And it gets rid of all the energies left over in the body after death. Sometimes that happens. There's a lot of negative energies that's left over in the physical body after a person dies, right? So you're burning all that stuff up when you cremate it. I recommend people being cremated over buried. Um, it's just the best thing to do, family. And I know um, that we live in a world where the majority of our ancestors have been buried for the most part. But trust me, family, if you're when you pass away, you should have it in your will or something that you want to be cremated, right? Now, if your family is being buried, I recommend that you definitely set them up on the ancestor altar and start giving them energy and light and giving them food and water and stuff like that, because they're going to need something. The more energy they receive, the more they can wake up faster and they can know where they are. And I'm telling y'all, that's almost everybody that passed away that is not spiritual. They literally be walking around in a daze in the astral plane. They just will be walking around, and they can be taken advantage of. They can be taken advantage of. So help your family. Out of all the cultures in the world, African Americans, even Africans honor their ancestors in Africa. Native Americans honor their ancestors, but black people in America are afraid to deal with anything like that. We believe in Jesus gonna take care of it. Jesus gonna take care of it, or Allah gonna take care of it. We need to honor our ancestors. We need to do the thing that we used to do in the past. We need to feed our ancestors to help them on the other side. They need it. So burn you some ancestor money. Make some food for them. Light a white candle, talk to them, and help them wake up so they can know. And also, the more energy they receive, the younger they'll look. So say they die with an injury to like their head or something, right? Well, the wound would actually heal. Their astral body will actually heal the wound, and they won't look like that no more. They'll actually start to look younger. Okay, so feed your family. Even if they were cremated, you can still do the ancestral. You don't have to put the urn up there. You don't have to put the urn up there, family. You can actually just put their picture up there, because their body's in the astral plane. So you can do the same thing. I do get that question sometimes. People wonder if their family is cremated, can they still? I won't recommend putting the urn up there, but I do recommend you can if you want to, but that person that could be, yeah. I don't recommend putting the urn up there. I do recommend just putting their picture up there. You keep the urn somewhere else. Don't put it on the ancestor altar though. Keep the urn somewhere else. I recommend you focusing on their spirit, right? Not the ashes of their body, but their spirit, and feeding them ancestor money, food, water, everything they need, whatever they like. That's what I recommend, family. So if you bury a person, you must do the correct rites and death rites and rituals to prepare that body. So, and the reason why those things happen, so the body can actually be safe. Believe it or not, even after death, there's spirits and energies that come and suck up energy from the body. That's a right. That's a fact. So you have to protect that body so it can be protected even after death, because if it's just rotting away in the ground, they're walking around the astral plane and demons and everything can take advantage of these people. That's a fact. So they're being buried in Jesus' name and they're not protected. Your family. But if you put them on an ancestor altar and start feeding them energy, and you ask the deities to protect them, like Baron Samedi or something like that, Anubis and stuff like that, they will protect those people and they will help those people. Okay? So I want to be very clear on that. If they're buried, they're not protected spiritually. And so that's why they need to be on the ancestor altar, because they can literally be they can be hurt. I told y'all about a family member of mine in one of my videos who, when I saw them there in the lower hell state, and an entity came out of the ground. You guys can go back and watch this video. I remember, I did so many videos, I remember which video I talked about it in. But in the video I talked about how a relative of mine was in a lower hell state. I went to go help them out and get them out of there. And I saw an entity come out of the ground with a Santa Claus sled. He had a sled, and in the sled was body parts. And also like people, like looking in the cage, and they was like, get me out, help me, saying all kind of crazy stuff like that. And the NT looked at me, and I grabbed my family member, and I just said, this one's mine. And the NT just kept going, and it was like some kind of zombie looking NT's like pulling the sled. It was the most creepiest, weirdest thing ever, right? So I was able to help my family member get out of that because they had a low conscience, not because they was a bad person. Their conscience was low. And sometimes when you have
Yeah, how many more minutes do we have left for that one, bro?
I think like 3 minutes.
Oh, 3 minutes? Okay, then that means we almost made it. We've essentially made it through the main crux of it. But bro, that just goes to show you. You see all the information. You see, these are the kind of brethren we should really pay more attention to, because they're the ones who are definitely sharing the knowledge that has been preserved through our ancestors and all of our spiritual elders from way back when, so that because they knew the time would have come for our consciousnesses to fall and whatnot. But eventually the select few of us, the elect few of us who would get back to that higher state of consciousness would pick this up, and that we would have to share it. Just like how we mentioned earlier, they're never going to make this information mainstream and whatnot, like these churches and all these other groups who are all part of the system. But we're definitely making it possible, and big ups to you for making it all possible through your platform and whatnot, bro, because indeed, not just YouTube, but very much every other freaking platform that you could share it on. Like, for real, big shout out to you on that one, bro. But just like how he was mentioning right there with some entity, that's why if you don't perform the proper rites and rituals for these bodies when you're burying them, these entities are going to come out of nowhere and try to trap the souls of our ancestors who need to move on and whatnot. And just like how he mentioned the Santa Claus shit, yo, that's a fucking Santa Claus right there. I think that's the Santa Claus that motherfuckers be mentioning. It's not a laughing matter, right, bro? It's not a laughing matter, but gee, Santa Claus came to fucking collect, wouldn't you say? I mean, shit, man. A fucking zombie ass looking Santa Claus entity. Just imagine the kind of fucking entities that just be laying in the darkness, waiting for fucking souls in hellish states to feed on them. You know what I mean? Yo, bro, this just made me realize just how evil these fucking churches are and whatnot. Yo, it's these fucking churches, these fucking churches and these religious institutions. These are the fucking witches and warlocks. Even though witchcraft and all that kind of stuff, that's literally our stuff. You know what I mean? Just because the cracker took it and literally gave it a code name, that doesn't mean it's their stuff. They're just using lower levels of our stuff. You know what I mean? But I mean to say, these motherfuckers are the evil witches and wizards that you see in stories. It's the fucking churches and schools and whatnot, but specifically these religious institutions, because depending on a nation's spirituality, that determines how far a people can go, especially just like what Brother Joseph said. From time you are ready to leave this world, your mind is in a higher state. To which, remember what we mentioned back in our first ever live we did together, bro? Who cares if we were to fucking die and not live to see another day in this world tomorrow? You know what I mean? That right there, without us realizing at the time, we were already putting our minds in a higher state of consciousness, knowing that there's way better out there. Unfortunately, these religions be fucking up the people who are closest to us, and that's why they try to continue to share this bullshit and whatnot. But yeah, just share, just give your take on everything that has been shared so graciously to us thus far, before we get back into the video to close it out, bro.
Oh yeah, definitely it's all about the elect few and not the chosen ones. Like at this point, a lot of people just overusing the word chosen ones and it's all like getting played out at this point, to be honest with you. But people don't want to die, um but because
They
they'll
want to
not.
go to heaven. Everyone
Yeah,
wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die.
yeah, definitely. It's like
And you could also look at it symbolically too, bro. Everybody wants change. Everybody wants great new things, but nobody wants to transform. Nobody wants to sacrifice. Just like our episode of The Outer Limits that I watched not long ago. because there's some narration at the beginning and the end of every episode of that show. But essentially, the the narration for this particular episode was um uh sacrifice. When it comes to sacrifice, it's not so much about what we lose, but what we ultimately gain. Forget the things that no longer matter to you. That's shit that you already had to get rid of. That's shit that you already had to walk away from and move away from. You know what I mean? That's why you got to keep moving forward. We got to keep moving forward, my brother. We always got to keep pushing. We always definitely got to yeah, make that progress, because we're not in a race. We're in a marathon. The finish line is literally right around the corner, but we got to keep enduring. We got to keep being strong and whatnot. But essentially, these fucking institutions and whatnot, man, these are some evil fucking institutions, man. I just wish fucking earthquakes and fire could literally rain from the heavens and whatnot and burn these fucking churches to the ground and whatnot, because these motherfuckers, yo, got these people's minds in such a. It's no wonder, bro, so many people cannot move on to higher places, or like what Brother Joseph said, they remain in this fucking zombie ass state because their fucking religions made them zombies even before they transitioned from this physical realm. It's just so fucked up, bro. Straight up.
Yeah, it's all after like how they just like soul trap people. I know a lot of people say you can't sell your soul, but they definitely can trap you within your soul. And like with that zombie Santa thing, yeah,
It's a
that
Reaper.
joke.
I already recognized it because remember those hooded figures in Harry Potter, bro? Remember those
Oh
hooded figures in, yeah, the Dementors. I think that's what they call them. Yo, that's essentially what that entity is. It's just maybe how can I say, the way it did it was kind of different, but when you look at it for what it is, it's essentially the same entity. Just the way it goes about it is different. That's literally the Santa Claus type of Reaper. It's some fucked up type of shit. For real, for real. And these are the kind of entities that you have to protect your ancestors from and whatnot, like Brother Joseph said, because spirituality is not about being a lazy motherfucker. It's about knowing that, just like what Bobby Hemmett said, the universe is filled with fucked up entities out there. That's exactly why when you're performing rituals and rites, if you're calling upon entities, know exactly which entities you are calling upon, because if you just go in willy-nilly and you don't even know who it is that you're calling upon, you best to be sure that you're calling upon some fucked up entity that, hey, yo, only a more seasoned spiritual master or occultist could help you in that situation. Because, bro, I'm telling you, this universe is a literal dog eat dog type of scenario, and that's what we should grow out of. This whole universe is fucked up and it has to be torn down, just like what ancient mythologies teach us. It's not just this world that we're experiencing, it's this universe as a whole. This shit needs to be torn the fuck up, my brother.
Oh yeah, definitely. I was about to say, you have to be like specific, with the entities that you call on, but you already hit the nail on the coffin or whatnot, you know what I'm saying?
Man, bro, I'm telling you, we gotta put all this bullshit to rest. I'm telling you, we gotta move on. We gotta continue to move forward. We gotta continue to grow. We gotta continue to sound the alarm clocks. Brethren, yo, few elect brethren, yo, wake up from that fucking sleep. It's time to literally tear this fucking universe apart. But either way, let's finish off the video before we move on to the next one, bro.
And the NT looked at me and I grabbed my family member and I just said, this, this one's mine. And the NT just kept going. And it was like some kind of zombie looking NT's like pulling the sled. It was the days they can be taken advantage of. They're not awake yet, right? But when you're, and so put them on the ancestor altar, right? But when they're cremated, they can wake up immediately and they can know where they are. They can protect themselves a lot better, but they still need to go on the ancestor altar, all right? So I just wanted to go in here and say that to you guys so you guys need an understanding about that, because I thought it was a good topic. I thought it was something very good to talk about, but I had to talk about death first and help you understand life so you can understand death is a continuous process, right? Every time you elevate, it's only because you died in the other realm. right? Death is a transformation process. It transforms, right? So when you're going through a death thing, you're transforming. You're supposed to be transforming for the better, not for the worst. So death is a process that you're supposed to be transformed. That Pluto energy, right? It's supposed to transform you for the better. That's what it is, family. But we have a tendency in America to look at death as something negative. You guys need to read the Tibetan Book of the Dead, the Egyptian Book of the Dead, and all these other things, right? You need to understand what death really is, because death is not something that's bad. But if you're not prepared, it can be bad. So we're doing our spiritual work. We're trying to evolve. We're doing these things so we can be prepared for death. I tell you guys all the time, if you're doing magic, it ain't about spells. Spells is a tool you use to hack into the matrix and change this reality to your reality. But please don't do magic based on spells. Do some evolutionary magic. Do some magic that's going to evolve you and help you and your family grow. Okay? Especially yourself, because you can't really help your family, but help yourself. But hopefully you left a legacy behind that your family wants to follow spiritually. Okay? Don't worry about telling them. Just live it in front of them. Live the spiritual life in front of them. Stop trying to tell your family about spirituality. They don't care. They don't want to listen. They're not ready for it. Just live it in front of them and they'll respect it. Okay? They'll respect the family. So this is Brother Yosef. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll holler at you guys in the next video. Peace.
Let me go to the next one.
Yeah, and as you're doing that, bro, I just wanna say before we start the next video, oh man, like that was a really good one. That was a really fucking good one. Shout out to Rich from Black Magic 363 on YouTube. Yeah, definitely Brother Yosef. He's a good one. He's a good one. He talks about various different topics when it comes to spirituality, and just like he nailed the just like he hit the nail on the head right there. It's magic based off of spells, like that's only to hack into the goddamn system. You know what I mean? You're a hacker and you're just looking to fucking punch a hole through the system to which you could definitely add your own coding to it so that you could literally program the system to do as you please. So when it comes to spells and whatnot, like it's fine only in certain instances, but what you should really be working on, and he already hit the nail on the head, evolutionary magic. Work on growing, like what Brother Panic himself said, cultivate your true powers, your true inner forces, because remember, all the gods are within us. Oya, Baran Samdi, Asar, Aset, Heru, Sut. These are nothing but energy formulas and signatures that dwell within us for us to tap into our true powers and forces to awaken so that we could literally get back to that which we truly are, continue to evolve, and tear this fucking stupid shit apart, because this universe is a hack. It's the lousiest freaking video game ever. It's worse than Big Rigs. It's worse than fucking Plumbers Don't Wear Ties. It's worse than Desert Bus. It's worse than Hong Kong 97. Man, big shout out to big shout out to Angry Video Game Nerd on those fucking yo, bro. I'm talking about some of the worst fucking video games on old consoles, and this game called Life here on Earth somehow ended up being worse than all those games combined. Oh, and don't forget Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde on fucking, I think it was the NES. Yeah, another shitty ass game. But to show you the fact that these games are somewhat more playable than this shit, man, you really gotta be becoming an alchemist is literally becoming a big time hacker. And that's what we should really be getting into on a daily basis, as long as we continue to come back to this dumb motherfucker.
Yeah, that's straight facts, because like we should really just be manifesting and cultivating all of our energy in the spiritual realms when we leave our physical bodies, because we know that we in this physical realm is just our ego. We're not even our true selves. So might as well just continue manifesting and cultivating our powers for when we do leave, because that's where we're going to have like those better experiences. And I feel like with Brother Yosef, he was talking about when he finally had a kid, then that's when what life was all about for him. I feel like that's for like a lot of people and whatnot. But yeah, I don't have any kids right now. But yeah,
I mean, yeah, you really think about it, my brother. But the fact that Brother Yosef, he definitely knows what he's talking about because he's living it. You know what I mean? He is living proof that yo, you can elevate yourself to the next level once you really see this reality, or rather this illusion for what it is. They be telling us in ancient mythologies, this world is not fucking real. This world is not our home. We are only passing by in this bitch. Leave a legacy, put in the work, and be sure that you leave the necessary blueprints behind so that those within your bloodline could also pick it up so that they can prepare themselves and be in a higher mind state, in a higher state of knowing, so that when they are ready to leave this world, they already know, man, yo, Grim, where the fuck you at, man? Don't tell me you're still playing with Billy and Mandy. Yo, get me up out of this motherfucker, man. For real. But yeah, bro, any last words before or like any extra notes before we get into the last video here?
Oh, nah. Let this video play out.
Oh, by the way, bro, I know kind of off topic, but based off of what you and I spoke already concerning women, like the sisters, and why they themselves should come to realize just how powerful they really are and how they should cultivate that individually, and eventually that they could come together to really put an end to this system.
Oh yeah. For like the sisters, like if they all really like band together and came together and put their differences aside in this realm, because the third dimension, which is this physical realm, is a feminine realm. So just imagine if all the feminine entities came together, then they will be the most powerful entities in this realm to usher in like the new oath and everything like that. So if they use their powers and came together, then that would bring unity, and then all the men will follow suit, because obviously we see online how men just like obey women, and just like a lot of men just like follow women and just for their cat and everything like that. So of course they're just gonna fall in line and everything like that. So it really just starts with the women, to be honest.
I mean, hey, it's a good thing I brought that topic up because you literally just hit the nail right on the head yourself, my brother. I'm telling you, solar return, and you're only keep getting better and better, my brother. I'm telling you, that's lifetimes and lifetimes of experience. And definitely we want to move beyond this shit when it's all said and done. But yeah, just to show you, men, if you have a lot of these men out here literally following women based off of stupid shit, imagine if the women actually came together, if they like worked on themselves, loved themselves, elevated themselves spiritually, and in terms of their mind and their heart, coming in unison to literally put an end to this bullshit system, like to literally bring in the new world. I mean, bro, I'm telling you, they could literally make you their representative as the new demiurge of the new realm, like we've been talking about. You know what I mean? Everyone, please, Brandon Bass as the new demiurge, as the new head of the new earth, for real, and just make sure that you and all of your not followers, but like those who are working alongside you in the new world, bro, that make sure that the new creation, even when it decays, because everything is a cycle, so it had a beginning, it has a stage where it's just going through the motion, and it has a point where it's going to come to an end. But make sure that the new world, even in its decay, is definitely a way better experience than this shit, because we already know this is nothing but fucking shit right here, my brother. But Brandon Bass as the new demiurge for the new fucking realms, everyone, for real.
Oh, yeah, definitely appreciate that. And, I take that with honor. And, I'm always trying to make that transition way easier than this joint, because this transition right here, I mean, like, this is just like
It's
utter
literally going
garbage.
through the fire. I mean, it's going through the fire, but yo, definitely the finish line is right around the corner. We got to continue to endure. We got to continue to be strong. We got to continue to press and move forward. And yeah, let's just get into this last video, by the way, this channel right here, just let the people see the name of the channel, bro, so that they could literally continue to check out what videos they have on this channel, because yeah,
too. We got
uh
Tiger with us there.
it's good. Yeah, so that people could see the name of the channel. People could see the name of the channel because they even have a few Bobby Hemmett videos in their video catalog and whatnot. So like you definitely know they are very aware of what needs to be done in order to move beyond this realm. So yeah, big shout out to you on that one, bro. Let's get into it.
Yeah, everyone can see that one. So.
Yeah, Primordial Waters Practical Matter. That's the name, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's get into it.
There
Yeah.
on your left shoulder.
Tygon, he's right here.
Right. Now, we're continuing to study the science of death because after the moment of death, we want the lytic cycle to take precedence over the lysogenic cycle, which would then take you into the magnetopause, which is the path to the Milky Way galaxy, the street of stars. All right, so it's all going to make sense. You know what I'm saying? We're covering the basics of it. All right, don't laugh too much. Tygon's going to fall off your shoulder. Hold on. Tygon, we got to make sure he's secure. All right, go ahead and read the
To
page.
cease this urge to go up upon the gray west side of the sky and go down upon the gray east side of the earth, with the gods in the suites of Osiris and the sun god. Read Coffin Text 18, Orion. Pyramid Text 437, 466, 472, 738, and Sirius. I think. Pyramid Text 473 are the imperishable stars. Imperishable stars. And the general direction the deceased travels is from west to east. Coffin Text 118 against the background of the Milky Way or Street of Stars.
Right.
It says, if we take the Egyptian advice and travel into space to view the great west of the sky and the great east side of the earth, we could look down the earth's axis of rotation from the North Pole and see the sun on the western horizon of the sky and the dark side of the earth's magnetosphere on the eastern. According to the text, after going northward to the pole, the deceased merges with the sun god and travels into the dark duat in a west to east direction. And it says, thus the textual advice to go down the great east side of the earth many indicate a movement into the earth's magnetosphere that stretches into the darkness due to a powerful solar wind. Right. And it says references to crossing the waterway of the Egyptian textual references to crossing the waterway of the sky windows, the lake, the sea, navigating the winding waterway, and being towed over the district of waters with ropes of iron. Coffin Text 62.
Put down Tygon.
Yeah.
Right. All right. So where were you? Coffin Text 62?
Point to the actual dynamics and energy structures. 21st century researchers are currently investigating in our magnetosphere, the invisible barrier that protects us from the solar wind. In light of these similarities, it seems reasonable to propose the Earth's magnetosphere as our real world model for the duat.
Right, so the Earth's magnetosphere is the duat, which in ancient Egypt is called the underworld, or translated as the underworld, which is hell. So you want to escape the duat, you want to escape hell, right? So we're going to get into that. So first you have to take the quantum journey through the black hole, through the wormhole, as we covered in the last lesson, right? Which is going to lead here. All right, keep reading.
And the magnetopause, if you know
the magnetopause.
That's
where you want to get to. That's the goal. To make it to get the hell out of here. Right. All right.
As the winding waterway or district of waters that the dead sun god travels with his crew to the shrine of Osiris god of the Duat. And this let me read this for the title. So this will be when you die. It says the vortex structure of the Earth's magnetosphere. It says the Earth's plasma barrier or magnetosphere is a vortex of whirling plasma due to a solar wind force, a place that could easily be called the chambers of the sky, ruled by chaos gods.
Ruled by chaos gods, right, that's in the coffin text.
Coffin text 76. The following brief review of the structure and processes in this vortex is essential for understanding the Egyptian direction to the stars. Because of the solar wind's ramming power, it forces the Earth's magnetic field into a cavity around our planet, known as the magnetosphere. The plasmas and the magnetic fields of the Sun and Earth interact as if were frozen together. They form distant regions. Separated by a thin boundary called the magnetopause. As outside the magnetopause is a layer of turbulent plasma called the magnetosheath.
Right.
Which is...
These are different layers of energy.
Yeah.
Right.
Inside the magnetosphere, the plasma rotates with the Earth because Earth's magnetic field lines are frozen into the ionic sphere plasma. The open magnetosphere defines the breakdown or frozen inflow, leading to the magnetic reconnection at the neutral points where the magnetic field is zero. At this point, the magnetic fields have opposite directions. It says, this is the last paragraph. This means that the sun's interplanetary field lines and plasma on it splices into the Earth's magnetic field lines of plasma at neutral points.
All right, so we're here on page 15 of the ISIS thesis, and so what it shows here is this is the Earth right here. Yeah, we got Tygon right there.
Yeah.
Now, remember the video I showed you on YouTube that explained how the Earth's magnetosphere works that protects us from the solar winds of the sun?
Yeah, I remember.
Right, so this is the Earth right here, and this is the magnetosphere, which is called the Duat. All right, so the Duat is translated by modern Egyptologists as the underworld, which is actually hell. So you don't want to be trapped in the Duat. You got to journey through the Duat according to the Egyptian Book of the Dead, right, Tygon?
Yes.
Right, you got to so where you want to be is right here, which is the magnetopause. You want to be, this is the Earth right here, these are the northern lights. This is the Earth's magnetic field, which is called the Duat, right? So you want to be in these bands right here, which is the Earth's magnetopause, right?
Right.
This is the path to the street of stars, the path to get the hell out of Earth. So, you're going to take the quantum journey, as we covered in the last lesson, through the quantum black hole, through the wormhole, right? As the bacteriophage carrying the deceased DNA, being the sunboat, tunnels the essence of the deceased king, through the wormhole. The lytic cycle takes precedence over the lysogenic cycle, so you can then get here, right?
Yeah.
So you can then so you don't have to reincarnate, so you don't have to be recycled as a photosynthesis being, so that you can get into the magnetopause and not be trapped here in hell and get the hell out of here, right, Tygon?
Yes. You see, you have to get to the magnetoshift. And the thing is, you can't be in the Duat because it's hell, and we want to get to the stars. Yippee!
Yeah, I really do. I really do like the good vibes there for real, and good information to fucking boot along with it, my brother. So like, yeah, they already pretty much nailed it all right there, my brother. And as we're getting into the last, what is for sure the last video from them, the road to Orion. The Road to Orion Escape from Hell. You can already get ready to go into it, bro. But suffice it to say, they even showed a whole map of how the magnetic sphere works, my brother. Like the hack, the passage that you need to take. But they also mentioned back in their previous video, because like they read these books in like lessons, like lesson 1, lesson 2, like the different topics of what it is you should and shouldn't do, or perhaps how it is that you could look at the information and come to your conclusion of what it is that you personally can and can do. Because remember, everyone's journey is different. Just because I take this particular path, that doesn't mean that you should take the same path. We're all different. There's no reason for us to take the same path. But I like the fact that the book, like, get that book, get all of Judy K. King's books, Balls of Fire, The Road to Orion, and the Isis Thesis. Like, she really did her due diligence to go into ancient Egyptian teachings and whatnot, so that this information could be made known unto us. Because remember, when we fell in consciousness, all these other humanoids, yes, they stole our information and whatnot, but the stuff that they made available, it was so that when the time would come, we would awaken from the knockout blow of our fallen consciousness, so that we could literally get back into this stuff, so that we could rise back to essentially being great beings that are far older than even this universe. I think they say constantly, bro, what the universe is, what this universe is, what, like 14 billion years old and whatnot. We precede this universe. So there's really no timetable or a particular timestamp or a particular age to put on us, whatnot, on your physical body. Your physical body might be in its 20s right now, but you yourself may very well be older than this freaking universe, my brother. And like, bro, just like share with the people what it is that they know before we get into the next video.
Oh yeah, it's all about not getting trapped and not getting cycled as one of the physical bodies, because with this creation of this universe, they just want recycled beings just to keep coming down here and empowering the system, because obviously the people empower the system, and we already are
The people are the lifeblood and the battery of the system.
Yeah,
We're
and
the
then
ones who keep their system alive.
right, definitely. And then since we already mastered humanity, it's like what's the point of even keep coming down here over and over and over again? So at this point, we just have to escape. A lot of people say like escape the matrix and everything like that. So, but once you die, once we're like alive, because like when we die, we're technically dead right now, and then we're just exiting the matrix and everything like that. So when we're technically really alive, then now we just have to really escape the reincarnation process, which is the duat, which is the electromagnetic field. So that's really the key to it all.
We need to take the necessary passage where there's like a pause, where there's not much going on, so that, because remember, just like what Mortal Kombat teaches us, we need to go through the portals. It's the portals that we need to, the necessary portals that we need to get to in order to go to where it is that we gotta go. You gotta love when all this stuff comes together, my brother.
Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely.
Let's get into this last video here, because yeah, I mean, I guess it ended up being longer than we thought, but hey, source and true self got to make it all known to those who need this information, bro.
This is Gnostic lesson 35, and today we're going to be reading The Road from Orion, a new book.
Right, and this book, The Road from Orion, is like a follow-up to the Isis Thesis.
It's volume 2.
Right. All right, so go ahead and read that page there, son.
The corpus of Egyptian funerary texts demonstrate an advanced 21st century knowledge of space physics, quantum physics, molecular biology, supramolecular chemistry, and bacterial genetics. Using this expansive knowledge base, the ancient Egyptians carved a sophisticated symbolic system of art and hieroglyphs into the tombs of the pharaohs, and nobility to the skies their science. The Isis Thesis, Volume 1, posits that the primary objective of their hidden scientific knowledge was to map the chemical path by which the genetic heritage of the deceased was preserved and vectored into a bioluminescent species that was not recycled back to Earth, and the world of photosynthesis, decoding an elaborate network of over 870 signs in 8 different texts spanning 2,000 years. The thesis explains how the pharaoh's science of death made humans into gods by cloning a new species. With this knowledge, the pharaohs insist humanity can reinvent itself at death. For humans today, this knowledge may be an alternative to species suicide due to the overpollution, nuclear war, global warming, and mass extinction.
Right, so the goal is to not be recycled back to Earth in the form of photosynthesis, because, you know, this matrix is depressing in a lot of ways. Like, there's a lot of scientists saying...
A lot of traps, like a lot of...
Yeah, this whole thing is a trap. There's a lot of scientists saying this whole thing is about to end soon. You know,
like in 10 years, we don't know, like maybe 10 years.
Yeah, there's like Professor Guy McPherson, Dr. Peter Columnist, you know, talking about how it's all going to be like over real soon in the, you know, rate that things are going. So yeah, like you were just reading about the alternative to species suicide, because this matrix is depressing in a lot of ways. Like when we talk about war, pollution, disease, starvation, these are all forms of hellfire, which is why you don't want to reincarnate back here. It's better to become a chemoluminescent light source of your own rather than reincarnate back here to this photosynthetic world and repeat this process all over again, you know. All right, so read that next section there, son. Go ahead.
Our planet also has poles similar to the poles of a cell. We both could see there was some amazing similarities between what is above in the sky and what is below in the cellular world. The pharaohs understood the dynamics of both space physics and molecular chemistry. The Egyptian kings and nobility understood their afterlife existed at the quantum level.
Right, so after death you're going to go to the quantum world, which is the world of particle physics, atoms, molecules, frequencies, photons, etc. So like even millions of years from now you could be reunited with your soulmate as particles somewhere in interstellar space. Who knows? You know,
in some way, death resulted in a person being conscious in this tiny afterlife world. This seems possibly because we are composed of indestructible atoms of carbon, oxygen, nitrogen, and hydrogen that are related at death for recycling. Many of these elements become trapped in the Earth's magnetic field.
All right, turn the page.
Trapped like in the Van Allen belts? Yes, trapped in the hot thermal hell of molecules that bounce back and forth forever unless they happen to escape in time through the lost cones.
Right, so when you're on the quantum level, you don't want to be stuck in a place where you're like burning, like the Earth's Van Allen belt in the magnetic field. So the goal is to escape the duat and eventually become your own star, as we covered in previous lessons.
And here's the thing. The pharaohs mapped a path for the dead to follow using the pole stars, points on Earth, and the magnetosphere as guidelines.
Right, you can locate the pole stars using the Orion constellation. Right.
It says, the Earth was like one-celled organism. So the path that they mapped...
At death, the Earth is like a one-celled organism. Right.
They mapped relative to the Earth and stars is really the path through a one-celled organism.
Right.
A path a path through a primordial E. coli bacterium. The kings believed that at death one returns to the origin of time. At this origin, the deceased was the beginning of creation, the moment in time when the first cell was created. The deceased could then choose to become an adaptive mutation, a being beyond human, by following the Egyptian path through the duat. It says the duat was the Earth's magnetosphere, and on the small scale, it was an E. coli cell. The deceased is dead but alive, which is a resemble because of the second law of thermodynamics, the idea that energy cannot be created or destroyed, but the living dead also travel in the afterlife.
I thought, I have a twin self who is everything. I don't want to be king of the world. I don't want to be a great violinist. I did want to be a photographer.
Well, bro, honestly, this was a really good one today. Like, I really don't know what much more could be said, except, yeah, the fact that big shout out to you for having made mention of the magnetic field from the very beginning of this live, so that it all just came back full circle. We literally ended it on that topic right there, but also relating to death, of course, because we know death is the ultimate frontier, and we just got to do what we got to do to move beyond this realm, my brother. I mean, we've mastered humanity. Humanity is what we fell into. Humanity is what we fell into after we were ruling as great, powerful entities for so long. And remember, this earth itself was not always physical. Go back into the mythologies and look at it for yourself. Don't take my word for it. But man, Dr. Bass, thank you so very much, bro. Like, yeah, just put it in layman's terms, what it is that people ought to be doing for themselves based off of the information that was so graciously put out there for them.
Oh yeah, I would definitely say that people should just realize that it's a whole process when you go through the death process, because it's not like, oh, you're just gonna die and then okay, you might see some
That's
family members and then you're just going
nah.
to magical heaven. It's like way off that. It's a whole different like process, and especially if you don't want to come back downhill, it's just a whole nother journey within itself. So at this point, we already mastered this human existence. We already mastered humanity. We already mastered this physical world. So we should be focusing on mastering the death process. So when that time comes, we can finally get the heck up out of this joint, because no one wants to do this joint again. I mean, this is pure trash. I'm be dead honest. This for real.
For real, I just want to leave this dumb motherfucker, my brother. I'm telling you, it's a pain when the some of the shittiest video games, angry video game nerd. Shout out to James Rolfe and Cinemassacre and Angry Video Game Nerd. It's weird how some of the shittiest games he played. I mean, Desert Bus, as a good example, is a game where you literally are the driver of a bus and you're just driving through a desert. That's all, my brother. You're just driving through a fucking desert, and be, you don't even come to a full stop until hours playing the fucking game, doing the same stupid shit over and over. And imagine that's a more interesting experience than this fucking world. Imagine that. To show you how bad this creation has fucking decayed at the end of its cycle, my brother. But man, bro, what can I say? Just continue to break it down for the people so that yeah, they could do the necessary work to really just elevate and transcend and move beyond this world, my brother, because why the fuck would anyone want to come back here?
Yeah, it's like really doesn't even make sense to come back down here having to do with this joint every single day, day in and day out, just waiting patiently for all your blessings and manifestations. I mean, like, of course, we know it's gonna come and whatnot, but it's just like, wait, yeah, it's just, yeah,
I mean, at the very least, bro, if something, if like Alien and Predator and freaking Pinhead, so called, the lead Cenobite from the Hellraiser movies, heck, even put Chucky, Freddy Krueger, and Jason Voorhees in there, like literally start tearing motherfuckers apart, my brother. I mean, like shit. I mean, like it's literally time for motherfuckers to be freed from their physical bondage, man. I mean, like think about it. These characters, being fictional characters who destroy people's physical bodies, they're actually doing a way more favorable, better job than these pastors and preachers out here. Yikes. Yikes.
It's crazy down here. These streets, to be
I mean,
honest.
but either way, Dr. Bass, yeah, great solar return to you, my brother. Yeah, everyone, a round of applause for Brandon Lamar Bass. Definitely, you gotta be the next demiurge of the new realm, my brother, because Yaldabaoth, that bitch, he probably didn't even stick around to show you how bad he realized that his creation was, to show you. So, like, yeah, bro, I trust that you will do a better job with the new realm when you are put into the position. But like, yeah, let the people know what's going on in your current experience, and that yeah, what it is that we could look forward to from you, and that yeah, just let the people know what's going on, bro.
Oh yeah. Probably like all the lives will be posted by the end of June and then July. So then I think July is like the last month. The last one will come out. So this one will come out July. So yeah.
Okay, okay, just as long as we don't have to continue to wait for those lives to come out. I mean, I know that you're an occupied individual and whatnot, but either way, it's all gonna come out so that people could really be aware of it. And the good thing about the way you do it is that you literally post it to as many different platforms as possible. So regardless of whatever manner or whatever means people come across the information, that they could literally yeah, that they do come across either way. So like yeah, you definitely make it possible for people to have access to it, and that you make it as mainstream as possible, especially considering that we give shout out to all the individuals who do a better job than we ourselves to make this information possible to the public. You know what I mean, bro? So big shout out to you on that, Brandon. And yeah, bro, I really don't think that there's anything more for me to say. Any last parting words as we wrap this one up?
Oh yeah. I appreciate you for coming on and all your the true selves and sources, wisdom and everything like that. And I'm glad this computer is kind of still working because it was all bouncing and whatnot. You know how
Gosh, it's some kind of a
crazy.
fucking issue, man.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
geez.
but yeah, I think
Oh,
this should
wow.
be fine though.
Well, whatever it is, everyone, make sure that Brandon's computer continues to work, because, especially for future lives and whatnot, yo, we gotta have the hardware to make sure that we're able to make this happen, y'all.
Yeah, facts, bro, facts.
But, bro, much appreciation, and yeah,
Oh yeah, I'll definitely get back to your message soon.
yeah, for real, bro. And yo, yeah, it was a pleasure to be on, and everyone, we just leave the information right there for all of y'all to choose, do whatever it is you want to. It's not our business what it is that you do or you don't do with the information, but we leave it all right there. So like yeah, definitely we did our part, bro. Hey, Dr. Bass, much appreciation. And yeah, continue to enjoy the rest of your evening and whatnot, as it's your day. And definitely, bro, we just got to continue to grow and make it all happen.
Oh yeah, thanks for coming on, man.
Oh, definitely, thanks for making it possible, bro. Peace, everyone.
Yeah, check ya. Yo, make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe. You ain't on the vibes, you ski.